Russia's new weapons upgrade is sure to give Ukraine a major nightmare. By now, we've all read a lot about Russia's use of suicide drones in battleground Ukraine. And now it's working on a powerful new drone that could launch airstrikes against Ukraine and become a major source of headache for its war-weary and war-worn troops. Reports say that Russia is upgrading its loitering munition. It is the Zala KYB-UAV, or as it's most commonly known, the Cube. And Russia's weapons production lines are on overdrive. The drone is manufactured by Russian arms company Kalashnikov Concern. And this is what the upgrade to the drone features. Reports describe the upgrades are as if the Russians have strapped a sledgehammer to the belly of the drone. It comes with a beefed up warhead, making it a more formidable nightmare for the enemy. The warhead is made from the explosive Okfol. It is 1.7 times more powerful than TNT. No wonder then Russia keeps insisting that it has the upper hand in the arms race with the West. And by the looks of it, Moscow intends to keep the rate of arms growth high. Now, it's not clear when the Cube will be used on the battlefield, but reports speculate that Russia may have already started using these upgraded suicide drones in the battlefield. Case in point being its maker, Kalashnikov Concern, the president, Alan Lushnikov. He told Russian state media on Christmas that the first batch of the Cube has been shipped. He said, and I'm quoting, tests have been successfully completed and the first batch is being shipped to the customers right now. I think at this very moment, this is a serious step because in fact, it was a new product. And here's what else we know about the Cube. It was first introduced in the year 2019. It already has some formidable features, including its ability to travel silently for 30 minutes. This even at a top speed of 130 kilometers per hour. So then, why did the Russians feel the need to upgrade it? You see, the original had some limitations. It had a relatively small warhead and it was used less often than other Russian drones in its class, such as the Lancet. In October, in fact, Russia unveiled a new SLA 53 version of the Lancet drones. It included an automatic guidance system that can distinguish types of targets as well as increase the strike success rates. And even this upgraded Lancet drone, despite its guidance system update, lacked a warhead powerful enough to significantly cause damage. Now, the upgraded version of this Russian drone will pack a more powerful punch against targets. The new version of the suicide drone, the Cube, can now fill those gaps. It can hit some of the targets impervious to the Lancet and other drones. And the most well-known suicide drones that are being used by Russians are the Iranian-designed Shahed drones, also known as kamikaze drones. For the unversed, kamikaze drones are also loitering munitions. They have explosives in a warhead on the nose. It is designed to loiter over a target until it is instructed to attack. The Iranian Shahed 136 does that. With a wingspan of about 2.5 meters or 8.2 feet, they can be hard to detect on the radar. Remember, war-battered Ukraine has been inundated by repeated Russian drone attacks since late December. Of course, Ukraine has often been able to destroy these drones by their air defenses with relative ease, and that is creating the need for Russia to keep making more drones or even upgrade them. And in recent months, Russia has been working to change the air attack strategy. Moscow basically wants to make it more difficult for Ukraine to intercept these drones, and to do so, it is making extensive upgrades to its drone fleet. Our next story is about the British Parliament, a symbol of the UK's so-called glorious past. Now, too bad, this Parliament has now turned into a rat house. I'm not making this up. According to a report, there have been a total of 1,000 sightings of rats and other vermin inside the Parliament building in the last 3 years. This is according to a dedicated expert who is based on the estate to tackle any nuisance rodents that infest the Gothic Palace of Westminster. He revealed some interesting figures in an answer to a parliamentary question by a Liberal Democratic MP. According to the experts, the House of Commons Pest Control team was called 541 times in the year 2023. 541 times. This figure dwarfs the 412 incidents in 2022 and the 227 events in the year 2021. And that's not even all. Reports say these are not your run of the rats. They are apparently super mice that can evade traps and are immune to baits. They can be seen roaming inside the House of Commons and are far harder to kill than regular rodents. The British government has spent tens of thousands of pounds each year to combat Westminster's rodent problem, yet the four-legged pests continue to mount trouble. And according to the Rodent Control Strategy Review, there are around 600 bait boxes in Westminster's kitchens and catering areas. But the mice appear to be resistant to several of the poisons placed inside these boxes. Besides rats, the report talks about how the Parliament building is crumbling down. It says there have been 11,182 plumbing problems at the Parliament, and out of this, over 5,200 problems were reported last year itself. And in the same period, there have been over 2,000 mechanical incidents related to lifts across the estate. And you think that's bad? Well, then brace yourselves for what I'm about to tell you. Even traces of cocaine have been found inside the British Parliament. According to reports, they were discovered in multiple locations: a dining room in the House of Lords, an exclusive pub in Westminster Palace, a washroom located close to Boris Johnson's office, and another next to the office of the British Home Secretary Priti Patel. This was reported by the Sunday Times in 2021. It talked about an open drug culture inside the UK Parliament, a culture that the British government tries to hide. Well, you have rat infestation, plumbing problems, mechanical incidents, and cocaine discoveries. The great British Parliament seems to have turned into a great circus. Now imagine this. You are someone who wants to have children, but due to some reason you cannot. What would you do? Adopt a child? But as you may already know, that's not your only option. Today, there are various techniques, and one such method is surrogacy. For couples who cannot have children, it has proved to be a blessing. But Pope Francis has some different views on this. He believes that surrogacy is deplorable and has called for a universal ban on the practice. Here's what he said.
Cari ambasciatori, la via della pace.
Dear ambassadors, the path to peace calls for respect for life, for every human life, starting with the life of the unborn child in the mother's womb, which cannot be suppressed or turned into an object of trafficking. In this regard, I deem deplorable the practice of so-called surrogate motherhood, which represents a grave violation of the dignity of the woman and the child based on the exploitation of situations of the mother's material needs. A child is always a gift and never the basis of a commercial contract. Consequently, I express my hope for an effort by the international community to prohibit this practice universally.
È mai l'oggetto di un contratto.
Why is the Pope against surrogacy? Now, before that, let me explain what surrogacy actually is. It is an assisted reproductive technique, and in this arrangement, a woman agrees to give birth to a baby for another person. The parents basically donate the egg and the sperms, and a third woman carries the child. So what is so deplorable about this practice? For all we know, it has helped millions of people have a child, especially the members of the LGBTQ community. You see, the Catholic Church has for long opposed surrogacy and in vitro fertilization, or IVF. It says that these assisted reproductive technologies depersonalize conception, and in the process, some embryos are also disposed of, which the Church argues is equal to abortion. Now, as far as surrogacy is concerned, the Pope has also compared it to trafficking. In the past, Pope Francis has referred to surrogacy as uterus for rent. In fact, the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has also used the term. Surrogacy is already illegal in Italy, but Meloni has also supported the criminalization of Italians who engage in surrogacy abroad. Several other European countries have also banned the practice. In the UK, for that matter, surrogacy is legal but restricted. Meanwhile, commercial surrogacy is outlawed altogether. Some also think surrogacy is exploitative. But is it really that bad if two adults consent to having a child in an unconventional way? What is so wrong about it? Isn't this, after all, a matter of choice? Once again, it comes down to what a woman wants to do with her body, and why should anyone other than that woman dictate that? Sometimes men and women have health conditions because of which they cannot have a child. Other times it's a man who does not have a partner but still wants to be a father. And then there are lesbians and gays who don't have many options. Surrogacy helps these people have a chance to start a family. Don't they have the right to be parents? Think about it.